Yo, 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 what's going on, boo-boos? Sorry about that. I'm getting old. Hold on one second. All right. I guess I'm light here. Um, what's going on? How are you all? Let me say hi to everybody. First of all, oh, it didn't load up. Damn it. If you said hi, I didn't see it. Hold on. 20,000 seconds. Hold on. I don't know what's going on over there. What's going on, everybody? Hello. I just got out of work. It's been a very, very long day. I think I've been at work for 14 hours. It's a crazy, crazy day. Hello, everybody. I'm starting to see y'all now. Let me see. Let's see one more thing real quick. Do, 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 do. Oh my God. What is this? What is going on? Stop it. Okay. Do I have this? No, I don't. Okay, I'm not doing that. All right. Anyways. So, first of all, I hope that you're all doing well. I'm just trying to make sure. I've been having a little bit of streaming issues lately. That's why I haven't been on the past 2 days. And I'm trying to make sure that I can access everything. Okay, I can. Oh, we're doing okay. All right. Sorry about that. So, first and foremost, how are you all doing? Because I'm about to have a we're about to have a long conversation about what my thoughts are about what just happened. But before we do so, it's important to check up on you all, right? Are you all doing well? You all taking good care of yourselves? I'm actually genuinely wondering. So I'm not just saying this as a formality. So I'm reading your comments and I want to know. I'm gonna slow this whole thing down until you all tell me that you're doing good. Because that is the most important thing. I'm doing pretty bad to be honest, but watching you helps. What up, P Spice? Hit me up on Discord. I'm not even joking. P Spice, hit me up on Discord. After this, me and you will have a conversation. We'll go one-on-one privately. Let's talk. Well, let's play a video game. You choose the video game, I'll download it. Me and you, we're gonna play tonight. Okay? I promise you that. So, you hit me up on Discord. You've been such a lovely, lovely person for so many years. It's been an honor to watch you grow as a person. God, I remember you when you were like a little baby. You were like 15 when I first met you. You were like a little baby. Now look at you. You growing up, Pete Spice. You getting up there in age. You become an old person. Pete Spice, we play anything you want. You want to play Roblox? We play Roblox tonight. Oh man. All right, let's see. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right. I had to send. What happened today? I had to send a whole bunch of. Oh, man, I had I. I think I had to send two patients to the hospital. I had to drive to a patient's house. That's how extra I get. When you're a patient of mine, you get 5-star treatment. That's what happens. Had to drive to the had to drive to the house, and I was like, "What's going on? What you doing?" I can't go into further details, obviously, but he started laughing. I was like, "What are you doing? What's going on? Why don't you listen to your family?" Like, when I get to your age, I better not be as thick-headed and stubborn as you. You got a wife that loves you. Fucking listen to her. So, man, today today has just been a long day. Uh, but everyone's alive and breathing, so we're hanging in there. People getting better, whatnot. So, um, yeah, you guys are talking about the BQ stuff. All right, so let's get onto that. All right, so let's have a conversation about this BQ stuff. So, I think before it, I think the most important thing is context. Okay, so for those who don't know, Bloody Queen essentially there was a B tier skin. People could use the B tier skin and turn invisible. Excuse me. So what happened was is that there was an unfair advantage for people who were exploiting this bug in order to win. Now, I think the first thing that matters before anything is that we are now in Koa rank, right? So we're not in just a regular, there was a glitch or there was an error, right? This is during Koa rank where this is the worst time for something like this to happen, okay? When you come out with something like this as a multi-billion dollar company, right? It's a mess up. It doesn't look good. You know what I mean? Imagine you know, a big thing happening during the Super Bowl halftime show versus, you just being at maybe a C tier bar where you mess up or whatever. You know what I mean? Like when the big stage is there's a certain level of expectations and there's a lot on the line. Okay, so we're right now we're kind of in that part of the series where we're not at the playoffs yet, but we're trying to compete for the playoffs, and it's a very short window. And you had 9 months prior to that to fuck it up, right? Now, so that's important is the context. That's the first thing, right? Like, if somebody shoots their significant other, we don't just throw them in jail forever and say bye. We ask about the context. Why? Was it self-defense? Were you protecting yourself? And I know it's a little bit of an extreme example, but you all know I'm a little extra. So, but the context always matters, right? Think about your own lives where your context matters, where you may act a little differently at a bar or maybe at a friend's house with a group of your friends versus in a library, right? So, context, both as in terms of environment with both literal, location as well as the contextual factors in terms of the circumstances can lead to behavior. So the first thing that we have here, it's actually multifold. On one level, we're talking about Koa, but on another level, in terms of the rank and in terms of trying to compete for an international tournament, um, now let's also talk about the NAEU server, because if we're going to take context in terms of environment and use it in a different way and also talk about context in terms of circumstances, talking about Koa as a rank, now as an individual server that matters because historically this server has had a lack of tournaments, which means that there is going to be an extra emphasis and stock that is invested in this Koa that I do not believe or feel it is reasonable to presume that other servers can understand that. And so, in a better way for me to articulate that without the verbal garbage that I just did, is that when we are a server with very little tournament opportunities, when the tournament opportunity presents itself, it's going to require 2 times more anxiousness, sacrifices, and an emotional and mental investment that other servers will never be able to relate with. Just like we can't relate what it's like to be in an 8-week tournament series as a tournament server or as a server, we can't relate to that because we don't understand it because we don't have that opportunity. When you're not in a server that doesn't have as many opportunities, you're not really going to be able to empathize with a server that puts as much emotional stock into what's happening right now. So if we go to hypothetically like China or Japan or these big servers that have so many opportunities, people will be like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. We'll get through this. There's always the next one. On this server, it's like, there is no next one. It's now. Like y'all have like NFL and MLB going on every year. It's a bad example. We got like the Olympics. We got one tournament every fucking 4 years. So there's going to be an emotional investment. Okay? So when you look at the tournament in itself, and then you look at the emotional investment specifically very centered towards NAEU, and I know some servers don't have as much like Southeast Asia compared to like, let's say, Japan. But it's like when you compare them to us, we also have less than them, right? Less opportunity. So the amount of emotion that I'm seeing kind of makes sense. Now, here's the thing. When you see an exploit such as Bloody Queen, first of all, really good hunters should never have to use this exploit. Never. Because when you look at the Identity 5 persuadable channel, not persuadable channel, the Identity 5 persuadable channel, most of those hunters have 60 to 70% win rates. Top hunters, on average, that's the win rates in Japan and China, NAEU for the most part, right? So most good hunters, like legendary, like top of the crop, shouldn't be doing this. Right? There's no need. The win rate's already high enough. You got 80% win rate, 70% win rates. My future videos, if you guys watch the podcast that I experimented with Daku. If you go back into the Bomb video, you're going to see that I'm starting to include a visual of the actual player that you're seeing. Like who they are, how many stars they have, what's their winning percentage. So I'm trying to expand those channels to make it even better than what you're seeing now. And if you go into the Bonbon footage with Daku, all right, you're going to see that a lot of those Bonbon players are, and mind you, Bonbon's not even S tier. You're looking at 60% win rates, 70% win rates, 80% win rates. So very top good hunters, they don't need to do this. They shouldn't do it. And I hope that they didn't do it because that's just desperation. Very good hunters, they don't need any help right now. They have in rank mode. We're not talking about tournament. Don't compare tournament to rank. This is one of the biggest fucking issues that I'm seeing, and I helped perpetuate this when I did my tier list, and I included like the whole really I should have done a better job back in the day separating like ranked tier lists from like tournament tier lists. Because like when you just make it global tier lists and you include both, tournament is completely different. There's a whole different ban mechanism. There's plenty of fucking feasters who are doing just fine with 75% win rates regardless of your tier list, right? Bonbon, they're top bonbons, they're winning 70% of the time, regardless of whether you got that in C tier, right? So the average versus ceiling potential is different for high players. And that's something that we need to do a better job at when we do our tier list. With that being said, most players are not using Bloody Queen in the higher tiers in the sense that Bloody Queen is used. She is absolutely used, and good Bloody Queens have good win rates with her. She's not just a tie hunter. That is a tournament mindset. It's driving me nuts, but I'm not experienced enough being back. I've only been back for less than a month, but I see people being like, "Oh, Nightwing, he's a tie hunter." He's a tie hunter. The number one hunter in Asia is a fucking Nightwing and a tie hunter. That's in tournament. 2 of the top 10 hunters in all of Asia use and. Stop, for the love of God, comparing competitive tournament tier lists to fucking rank mode. They're not the same. Okay, I feel better. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I let it out. How do we climb down this rabbit hole? Right? Anyways, so the exploit really should not have been used by players that don't need to use it. That's my point. Now, the other problem, playing devil's advocate to what I just said, something that this server may not be. So we just talked about the context matters here about how there's other servers that may not be able to relate to us, right? In terms of the lack of opportunity. With that being said, one thing that's really tough for our server to understand is that when you look at other servers, right? Okay, it's much more competitive there in the sense that there's more players, right? So when you see team players and teams get desperate, when you have, like, let's say if we have, I'm just making this number up for the love of God, no one quote me on this. Say if we have 16 pro caliber teams, which in my opinion would be the highest it's ever been. Normally, historically, 2 years ago, I'd say we maybe have four. I'm seeing way more than that. We may even have more than 16. Other teams now have, other servers now have like 64 to 100 and whatever. So there's a marginal difference based on the amount of players and sample size. It has nothing to do with NAEU not being good. It has to do with the amount of players that you're seeing on other servers. The last that I knew, I think China had like over 300 million downloads, for example, right? So it's a bigger sample size, it's more competitive. So then you got to ask yourself a question where even if we have 16, right now we're going to probably have over probably between I'd say 75 to I'd say anywhere between 64 and 100 teams that are like, we want to do as good as what we really really can. So you put yourself in a position where if you're in an environment where everybody else is doing it, I'm not saying that's a good enough excuse, but we also have people who are 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm 34 and I still make bad decisions every day, let alone like what you're going to do when you're feeling pressure to make sure that you can impress your teammates. And when you're part of that environment where everyone else is doing it and you lack, when you feel like there's going to be a lack of accountability and that nothing's going to happen, then at what point do we look at people who are much younger who are just looking at it as like, where's the morality in the game versus real life, where you take that opportunity and you kind of run with it a little bit, right? Again, we can get into the morals and the ethics. I think that our conversation on morals and ethics would be much more better suited towards real life instead of the game. But I look at that and I'm like, is this the result of lacking accountability in the sense, not accountability, but if you do not feel like people are going to be held accountable, then you're less likely to probably hold yourself in a manner where you can get away with things and not have to worry about the consequences. So Identity 5 came out with an official statement, and they said that they were going to give like 300 echoes and 3 rank whatever treasures. And then in that comment, in that post, they wrote a comment to it talking about how they're going to do an investigation. So they didn't make a separate announcement about what they're going to do about punishment. They made a post about here's your rewards, and then they commented it saying, this is, we're going to investigate it and all that stuff. So now, me personally, for those who don't know, Persuadable is known for running the most perfect tournaments ever with no issues whatsoever, none whatsoever, and he was always constantly being transparent and messaging everybody on social media immediately. He doesn't disappear for 7 days at all, and yeah, it's not easy being the staple of perfection. I'm just fucking kidding, please. So here's the thing. One of the things that I was trying to learn when I ran my tournament is that, like, me personally, I'm not on social media a lot. You know, I just feel miserable on there. I don't think it's actually social media's fault. I think it's my fault a little bit. I don't feel as happy. Like in real life, I don't argue with people. I don't get into debates. In real life, I can't disappear from parents and 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 patients and insurance companies for 3 days. I have to handle it head on. So like when I run a tournament, I'm still learning like what is the difference between me just being a privately funded person that can do what I want, say what I want with no repercussions versus like my job. My job I can't do that, right? My job I have patients' lives in my hands. I have insurance companies on my ass. I have administrators on me. I have family on me. I have community, and I love it all. But when I come here in my own time, this is my leisure skill. So if the stress of my leisure skill is starting to give me anxiety or making me upset or making me sad or whatever, I have to know when to disassociate in order to address my job, which is over here. Identity 5's over here, privately funded, no sponsorships, can do and say what I want. Job, responsibility, can't do any of that. Have to be careful, right? So when I look at Identity 5, right, it's a big multi-billion-dollar company. So they don't have that luxury of doing that, right? Like when something like this happens, they have to address it. And I applaud them for posting something because if that was me, boo-boos, y'all bitches wouldn't hear from me for like 10 days. My ass would have deleted every social media app and be like, I'll come back to this later. Now, they can't do that, nor would I want them to or expect it. So I'm happy they came out with a comment. Now, the big thing here is that people are asking, are the rewards enough? And I don't think, I think it's going to depend on the long-term game. We're going to look at what they're giving right now to the community, and we're going to judge that based on how annoying this was for so many players, for people who are sacrificing their sleep. Guys, I have patients who don't get good sleep, and they're at a higher risk for strokes. So your sleep is fucking important. A lot of you are younger, so you can get away with it, but it catches up to you. So you're sacrificing your health. Let me make that clear because the public is not educated enough to understand how important your sleep is. With bad sleep, it can affect your mood, your appetite, it can affect your blood values, it can affect your breathing, it can affect how you are as a person. You may even feel like you're losing control. Your irregular sleep patterns can completely fuck you. And we don't pay enough attention to it. This is something the medical community, the holistic community, anything in between has been really trying to promote for the last 20 years. We're behind on it. Sleep is as important as eating. Medically, it's considered an ADL, which means that I consider sleep in every single clinical evaluation I do just as important as your ability to eat healthy, drink healthy, your ability to take care of your hygiene, your ability to dress yourself, your ability to enter your home, drive a car. It's more important than driving a car, believe it or not. And you sacrifice that right now to rank up. You are sacrificing your health for this game, right? You can't argue it. You are. But that's your decision to make. I don't scold you for it. I don't disagree with it because we all have to sacrifice some things in life in order to gain other things. So that's not where this conversation is going. But when you have people who are sacrificing their sleep quality, their health, when you have people who are doing all of this for a game that they love, the passion, something that they take seriously enough to compete, something that they take seriously enough to occupy their time with. And for your loved ones, one day, you are going to have people who wish that they could just have 5 more minutes with you. And I've seen this hundreds of times. So your time is important. And right now, that time got robbed. That sacrifice got robbed, right? That's a decision you decided to make. But at the end of the day, my point is this. They responded. They gave you guys a reward. They posted something on social media. Good. I think that the value that they have provided you is not enough relative to the sacrifices that were made. I think that in their message, they said that they rely on everybody to contribute to a positive environment and to a healthy environment. I think that's a positive message. But I think that in order to foster that sort of environment, it starts with leadership. And it starts with making sure that you also are leading by example. Now, me as a private social content creator, I say and do what I want when I want. At any point in time, if someone doesn't like that, it's perfectly okay. Just go away. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Like, it's okay. I totally get it. I got a shit personality. But, like, go over there and, like, let me just keep doing my thing. I'm happy, right? Again, if I have a patient complaint, I can't act like that. It's my job. It's my job to make sure that the customer is happy, the patient, the family, the outcomes. If I fall somewhere in life, I want to know when and why. This isn't my leisure skill. This is my life. As a company, this ain't your leisure skill. This is your life. This is your job, right? So with that being said, I think that what NetEase needs to do, and I have precedence for this, which means that I have historical knowledge on this. When in season one, what happened was is that there was a big clan. It was the number one clan that was cheating against me, and their name was Inori. It's still on YouTube. Never deleted it, but I don't talk about it a crazy amount because it is what it is. I had the biggest clan on NAEU sabotage all my matches. Season 1, I ended up as top 7 survivor. I should have been top 1 with Yo Mama, but we kept getting these folks who, what they would do is back then, there were only there was over 1 million players on NAEU and actually it was on NAEU and they came out with a 3 million download announcement in like August. So season 1 was like crazy. But what happened was back in the day, you could see other people's avatars. The lucky guy thing wasn't a thing at the time. So what happened was is we had the biggest clan on the server throwing my matches and throwing others so they wouldn't lose their rank. So when I was streaming, because I won the first NAEU tournament, the first official NAEU tournament was a solo tournament. It wasn't a team tournament, which I think they should come back out with solo tournaments. And I won the whole thing. And so what was happening was is that these players, there were like 20 of them. And what they would do is the survivors would match up with the hunters, and if they were in the same clan, they would tie the match. So I couldn't win. And I had video evidence. I posted it on YouTube. It got I don't know how many views. I don't care about that stuff. I genuinely have no idea. And then eventually NetEase, I think it was like almost like a couple weeks later, because I was messaging them, and at the time we were on Skype. We were like that's how close we were. And what they ended up doing is they ended up doing the lucky guy solution to that, where everyone's just got lucky guy in legendary rank mode. Now, this happened after that, so I don't know if that was by coincidence, but they said, "Oh, don't worry, we got this handled," and then all of that stuff got remedied. When that got remedied, um, I let it go. Never talked about it. After that ordeal, there's no follow-up videos. I didn't cling to it. I didn't. It was like, all right, like cool, we're good. I'm good. And I think that's what the community is looking for, is that they want to feel like things are good. And I don't feel like that during the biggest contextual matter in terms of rank as well as on NAEU, I'm not saying that they're fully negligent in the sense of they're not doing anything. We don't need to be hyperbolic. We don't need to say these are evil people because they didn't fix this before it happened. We can reasonably say, I appreciate that you made an announcement, you made a comment, I appreciate that you offered some reward, and I appreciate that you said that you were going to do an investigation, but I feel like what people want is what is the end result of that. And dependent on that answer is going to depend on whether the reward that they provided was enough, because it depends on what you're looking for. So me, historically, I want accountability. So if you come back and you say, okay, all players that use Bloody Queen in a way that we felt was erroneous are going to be blocked from games for 24 hours, something like that. Now, for me, that's going to make me happy. Now, for other people, it may not. So there isn't going to be a solution that's going to make everybody happy, but that's also because you provided this really big mistake during such a big moment, right? So like when I had players yelling at me on my tournament, I understood. Like in their mind, like we don't have these big tournaments, so like everything feels like it's on the line. So I understood where the anxiety, the frustration, and the upsetness came from, and it was all warranted. And all I could really do is meet with everybody as much as I could. I didn't know how to deal with that. I'm not a fucking multi-billion-dollar company. I don't know the difference between trying to hold an official tournament versus like who am I as a private person, right? But they do this for a living, as a career. They have a whole league in Japan. They got a whole league in China. And this is during such a big moment. So I think that based on, I don't think that what they provided in terms of the apology, I actually appreciate their apology. I think that they made an apology, they made a backup statement to it as a comment. We can talk about semantics as to whether they should have made a separate post or not. I don't care about that. So I don't do the social media stuff like some people do. So that's, I think that's a debate for other people who know more about, like all of that stuff. But from my standpoint, it's like, all right, so you made your decision. Your decision was to provide treasure to people and 300 echoes. And then your next comment was is that you're going to hold people accountable. I feel like for me personally, I would like a follow-up. I don't think I need a follow-up right away. I'm not into that. I actually appreciate when companies take their time to step the fuck away and absorb the information and make it. But I feel like for me personally, as somebody who's been affected by cheating in this game, and in any game in general, you apologize, good. You gave a little bit of an incentive, okay, good. Some people disagree right there, it's perfectly fine. And then you said you were going to hold them accountable, good. I think from there, using what you have provided and me not telling you what to provide, I feel like a follow up is going to be extremely important because based on that follow up, it tells me about everything else as to whether it was good enough. Because at some point, you say you're going to do this investigation, you're going to hold people accountable, especially during one of the most hyped moments and the most popular moments in the server history in terms of a very important tournament. Okay, so if I'm going to be reasonable and hold back, and instead of going out there being like, well, you didn't provide enough treasure, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, it's like, okay, I'll be patient, right? I think that's being reasonable. I think that's giving you the benefit of the doubt. I think it's important to be calculated and not just go out there and just complain about anything. Although complaining in this sense, we mention why people are gonna do that, and that's okay in their own right. That people are allowed to use their time how they wish. But for me personally, I really want to know what the end result of this is. And I don't really know how to measure it because I don't like telling people what to do. That's not persuadable is literally not persuading you. It's like literally like let me just throw my ideas out there. You do what you want with them. I'm not trying to convince you I'm right. I'm not smarter than you. Um, I'm definitely more handsome than most priestess mains. But other than that, I digress. With that being said, I feel like the way that to measure this is to see what the follow up is. And so for me, you say you're going to investigate them and that there's going to be ramifications. You've already chosen to make this a transparent thing, so you must stick to it. And I feel like more transparency is going to better the situation, regardless for those who are not going to be satisfied with the outcome. In my mind, they should have just reset the 24 hours they saw, but that probably wouldn't have worked out either because then you're wasting people's time. But at the end of the day, I understand it's a glitch, not like they purposely did this. I don't feel like they, they didn't go out there and be like, hey, how can we make this color fucking controversial where we piss everyone off? People don't usually do that. But, well, unless you stream on Kick. But thanks to you all, by the way. I didn't know about that because I was trying to like look at all my streaming options, and then y'all were like, you should be careful about Kick. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with Kick? You guys don't understand how fucking stupid I am when it comes to this stuff. And I was like, it can't be that. I went on like one person stream and said some of the dumbest shit. I'm like, how are they not banned? Fuck this. So I gotta figure that out. But with that being said, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to be a little bit more careful. Now, you must understand. Now, I would like to provide you my limitations to my argument, and this is something that you should get familiar with in life, because if you ever decide to actually join any sort of professional field in science and research, you are always going to have a limitation section. That essentially says why you suck professionally. Oh, like my research in the future, we should have done this, future researchers should. That's like your way of telling researchers who are trying to build off of your stuff how to do it better, for things that you couldn't account for. So with that being said, me trying to be reasonable and providing them the opportunity to explain themselves is a position of power or a position of convenience because I am not in COA like you all are right now. I played Roblox last night. I'm enjoying life over here, right? I'm retired. I'm good. Not trying to be a shoutcaster or a professional player. I just, not trying to be a coach really. I'm just kind of just I love the game. I want to relearn it. I want to learn everything about it. That's why I post 1 hour videos on that other channel. So I'm in a position where I can allow myself to not be so emotionally charged. For a lot of you, and I know some of you are like listening to me right now and being like, Persuade, shut the fuck up. And I say, good for you, because you're pissed. And I'm not, remember, a lot of you are so used to online culture and social media that you're used to people talking down to you. You're used to people entering the conversation with guns drawn. You're used to people with their hot takes. But in the real world, like that doesn't exist as much. It does, but not as much. In the real world, most of my conversations I feel are relatively reasonable, especially with people I disagree with. I think that you should understand that you have every right to be emotionally charged and pissed. You have every right to listen to my rationale and be like, dude, you're not the one that just sacrificed their sleep for 3 rank sessions or whatever the case may be. You're totally right. So that's why that is a limitation. That allows me to be an outsider. There's a benefit to being an outsider, and then there's also a benefit of being an insider, right? There's different research methods that come into that, like ethnographies. Um, Ethnographies as a research method is the idea that you actually live in that environment. So think of somebody that, the people who try to live with the gorillas and tell you about the gorilla life. Okay, well, there's good research with that, naturalistic observations, but does that represent all gorillas in all environments? Literally, that's a research method, by the way. So there's a benefit to listening to those who are on the outside, who are not part of that, and who are not part of that bias. And then there's also a benefit to listening to those who actually live it, deal with it, experience with it. And I applaud you all for those who are going to go out there and look at those folks' opinions, because you should. My opinion doesn't trump them. My opinion isn't better than theirs. It's just from a different perspective. The second limitation that I have with this, with my own opinion regarding all of this stuff, is that we talked about not being part of the actual COA rank and the sacrifices that you all had to make and all that stuff. I think that another thing too is in a sense age. I live in an environment where we're expected to be calculated. Those are expectations. We're expected to listen, absorb, reflect, respond. But that's not always good, because there's times where you need that charge. There's times where, like in my own personal relationships, women that I've dated, people I've been with, where that's not what they were looking for. They weren't looking for the analytical man. They weren't looking for the calculated man. They were looking for the man that could just sympathize and listen to them. They weren't looking for somebody who was trying to listen to their argument and break it down like a molecule. They wanted to be listened and heard and comforted. So my approach can be cold at times, and it can lack sympathy, and that's something that I continue to work on. So when I sit back and I try to break this down, that's what I'm doing, is I'm breaking it down like a molecule, and as a result, I am disassociating people and their emotions and feelings from my pursuit, perhaps selfishly, to break down the molecular formula in terms of what are the circumstances that led to what we're observing right now. And that's something that I got to work on. So, with that being said, those would be the two big limitations of such, and I think that there's flaws to both of those. My question to you all, and that's why I asked you all how you're doing in the beginning, because I told you I was going to go on a rampage. I would like to open the floor for all of you to express to me what your thoughts are, and I want you to feel comfortable. This ain't a debate. That's not what I do. I don't talk down to y'all. I tell you what my thoughts are. I want to know yours, and I would like to absorb them. I may have questions, and I may slightly ask questions that may present itself in a way that I might be pressing you, but more so, it's my pursuit to understand exactly the way that you're thinking. And again, this is how real adults in the real medical field and in the real therapy field, this is how we talk. We don't try to convince you that you're wrong. We try to say, "Oh, I'm not familiar with that. Can you show?" Yeah, when you have a moment, can you show me the research on that? Because I haven't seen that. I really want to be able to read what you did. We don't be like, you're fucking wrong, you loser. Go fucking stub a toe. So, anyways, yeah, but when you're punishing the hunters that played fairly and the survivors, because I'm sure a lot of people who played Bloody Queen weren't punished unless they somehow can see who used the skin and rank. So, Isa, if I may, I think your name is Isa. I think what you're saying is that you would probably appreciate the knowledge in terms of how the methodology in terms of how they plan on going about differentiating between those who are Bloody Queen players versus those who exploited her. My question to you would be, do you have to use the B tier skin if you're a BQ player, right? If you're worried about that, would you be able to just change your skin? I don't know the answer to that. I'd like to know what your response is. Um, let's see. So if you do not report them, they will get away with it. Yeah. I personally didn't meet any people exploiting the glitch in rank because I banned Mary every match. But it does upset me hearing people lost points. Yeah, and so, but in a weird way, the people who exploited Bloody Queen, right? And please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just speaking on the top of my head. But that also means that the people who are exploiting Bloody Queen now just helped other hunters. Because if people are exploiting Bloody Queen and people are worried about Bloody Queen and then they have to waste a ban on Bloody Queen, guess who's not being banned? Goatman, Hullabaloo, or Hula Hoop Boy. And now you got maybe the Ivy or the opera singer. So by proxy, people benefit. I've reported manually in the post-match to BQs that played seriously with the invisible exploit. I apologize, it's a bit off topic, but some of the stuff you said reminded me. Do you think you're going to start using the research channel on your Discord channel again at some point? Yeah, yeah. So we're back to YouTube. This is technically my first week back as Persuadable. So I've been gone this whole fucking time. All of November, the whole tournament, all that stuff. It was all like alpha, beta version of Persuadable. But I'm so fucking busy right now that we have like three specialists in this area with like 20,000 people, and both of them are on vacation. So I'm working like 13 hours each right now. I'm in home health, and then I'm also in the nursing facilities. So right now I'm a little busy, and I'll be busy all the way up until about January 25th or so. And then I go back to a relatively reasonable schedule, but I'll be on YouTube a lot. That's why, like, literally, I just got out of work, I ate dinner, and then I immediately came on, and I'm immediately going to bed. um, I know there are some people who went friendly with the skin, so I think they would find the exploiters based on bans. Okay. You were talking about like how you differentiate between Bloody Queen mains and those who. My point was is that it was based on the B tier skin, right? So why wear it? Another funny thing is I think they literally looked into past mute and violation history when people reported them for Invisi BQ. I don't know. I don't even think that I would care if they gave me their methodology. I think that if they came up with a follow-up post, maybe 2 weeks from now, like I said, I don't want to rush them and make mistakes. I don't go on Twitter and social media and be like, I need a response from this person or I need a response from this organization. I don't operate. I got real life things going on, right? But it's okay to look at those things if those things are important to you, right? So from my standpoint, I feel like I would like a response. I don't put a timetable on there. I feel like the more relaxed I am, then it gives them more freedom to meet expectations where people can therefore not make you unreasonable. When you have unreasonable expectations, then people are going to use it against you. So, in a weird way, the more relaxed you are and the more understanding you are, then if people don't deliver, then the more justified you are. So it's almost kind of like positioning yourself in a manner where it's like, so for NetEase, I don't have a timetable. I use 2 weeks as an example, but that's to emphasize that I don't need it in 2 days. I would like to know eventually what the end result of their investigation was. Because in my mind, how do I know you're actually doing it and not just saying you're going to do it? And then I also don't need to know your exact methodology because I don't really care. I have faith that you're not going to be banning people erroneously because that affects your play game ratings, it affects your monetary value, it affects your numbers. So if anything, I would presume that they're going to err on the side of caution rather than the opposite. And other games are not the case. I just don't feel like NetEase historically just randomly bans people because most of the time you'll just get muted. You know how many times I'm in copycat matches and y'all start posting in post match or something and be like, this player has been muted. Like, yeah, like half of y'all. That's I'm making that number up, but it's like yo up there, you know. Y'all probably would have been banned on some other platforms, you know. I first found out about the invisible BQ from a friendly match, and thank God I did, or otherwise they would have been awful later on. Yeah, persuade me speaking in PhD. That's what I don't understand. I don't think they can see what skin the reported person is using. So are you worried about false reports? Honestly, I feel like using the skin even to go friendly, you shouldn't be surprised at getting banned and exploited as an exploit. What about the player rankings due to the glitch? I feel like the points might be inflated for BQ now because of the glitch. So that would get itself most likely regulated out. Because if people use that and then they stop using her, they're not going to rank up at all. And if they're using that exploit as a BQ, like BQ mains don't need that exploit. So that's why I was saying that why would they use it? You know, like in my mind, if I'm a top BQ player and I know that there's a skin that I can exploit, but I'm worried that there may be ramifications, then I'm just gonna keep using my skin. If I have a 70% win rate with her, I don't give a fuck about the skin. So that would be my standpoint from it. Um, Again, there's flaws with a lot of that too. So but I think that the real big thing is not about the character points. I don't think it's about the friendly matches. I don't think it's about people going to quick matches and being cute. I think that really, if people used it during the COA qualifying rank matches, during a very set, arbitrary set, not arbitrary, very static set time with a very specific costume, especially if you used her or didn't use her, and if you add like a little window in preparation for those who may have not known about the glitch, you can probably account for it. And then based on the number of matches that they had, then you can then you can probably have a reasonable method of intent. I don't think you need to look at their win rate because you don't need to win in order to exploit. You can still be an annoying prick and lose. So and you can still cause frustration and annoyance and make matches longer and require people to ban characters that normally wouldn't be banned because of you. So you still contribute to the problem regardless of your win rate, and you contribute to a more systemic issue rather than what your individual win rate or usage rate was. Now, I know that some people are going to say it's just a game, why take it so seriously and whatnot. And again, they have an argument with that. Obviously, we could debate that, dismantle it, whatever. But my purpose is that if you're doing something purposely that puts you at a competitive advantage, then I would say that why, if this is only a game and it doesn't mean much, why would you have to do that in order for you to win? That means that to me, you're more desperate than the people you're trying to, I would say, inadvertently or advertently propose that they're overreacting over something so minimal. If it's so minimal, then why do you go out of your way to use it? If it's just a game. Oh, I want to have fun. Okay. Well, why do you have to go and call a rank matches to have fun? You can go in quick match. You can go on Roblox. You can go on Dress to Impress. You can go on Copycat. You can go on Shadows. You can go in blackjack. You can go in tarot. Ah, there's so much there. It's like a buffet of choices, and you chose the one that just is gonna lead to chronic heart issues, and now you're over here yelling at us about it. You had the option, so if you get caught up in the crossfire, you get caught up in the crossfire. You knew what you were doing. It's like taking a whole bunch of groceries from Walmart and walking past the self-check line and you get caught and you're like, oh, I didn't see the fucking cashier. It's you knew. State the court of law, you know? Yeah, you could. Yeah, you quote that. You could still be a prick and lose. That should be my mind. You still get points for the Koa quick matching. Do you? You still get points. Okay. Man. Yeah, but do you have to? What's going on, Moonlight? Yeah, it's a lot less. Okay. Hmm. Okay. That's why I think it would be safer to reset everything because that messed up rank in general. If you don't ban her, you get a chance of going against an invisible Bloody Queen, but now you're wasting a ban on her. Well, the problem is that if you reset the whole server, now you're punishing, you know, if we're just talking about Asia and NAEU, you're punishing, God, no, probably 100,000 people or more because of a select few. In my mind, this is gonna suck. In my mind, if you want to make it easy, you just reset Bloody Queen matches. You just render them all 24 hours gone. Yeah, do the minority few of Bloody Queen matches, Bloody Queen users, whatever, do they suffer consequences? Yeah, but that would be the easiest, quickest method in my mind. But if they would like to go above and beyond, hence why I said that I would be allowing them multiple weeks to respond, if they would really like to go and investigate every single individual person that got reported, and then I would say that would be the best method. So one's the quickest and easiest, one's the best. Um, chat, tell me this, right? And I'm asking you to educate me, right? But if you're a Bloody Queen main and you want to rank up, and you are a good Bloody Queen player, and you are doing well, and you have a 60% win rate or higher, then could you not just play her and not use the skin? Like that's what I didn't actually get to play blood. Like I didn't touch Bloody Queen during this, so I don't know. But in my mind, just don't use the skin. Like if you use the skin, you knew what you were doing after a certain amount of time. You knew what the fuck was going on, right? As far as punishment go, I am reading your guys' response. As far as punishments go, it seems like they're trying to target exploiters and leave everyone else, which feels fair. And right, and so that's why I would like them to have a follow-up to reassure the community that they did something about it. I totally agree with you. That's why it's important to stay calculated at times, right? Yeah, you could play her and avoid the skin. Yeah, so in my mind, why use the skin? Right? Like if I'm a survivor and I am playing on Red Church and I know that there is a way to glitch on one side of Red Church to the other. If I don't want to get banned, then I just don't do it. Huh? I just don't do it. Now, there are times where, in my opinion, exploiting is fine. I'll give you a good example. I can convince you all right now that exploiting can be fine. I'm not saying that it always is, but I can, if anyone is above the age of 25, I can convince you, I will persuade you now. One of the rare times online, I will be persuadable and not persuadable. Do you want to know when it's okay to exploit? If you guys want me to tell you, I'm gonna win this argument. You gotta understand, I'm about to fuck y'all up. Y'all want to hear? I'm gonna win. If I win, you say persuade you're handsome. If I lose, you never watch another video of me again. I will put it all on the line right now that there is one time, a few times, where it's okay to exploit in a video game. And I'm gonna tell you right now. So back in the day, when you used to play Pokemon Red, what you would do is you'd fly to this island. You would do a whole bunch of steps before this. You would fly to this island, and you would surf up and down the border, and then your sixth or seventh item, you could get infinity amount of items. So if you had a Master Ball, you could hack the game and get infinity hack Master Balls. And I used that fucking exploit for years on Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. I didn't care. I was running around with fucking Master Balls. Like, I had rare candy up the ass. Not literally. So I could take any Pokemon, get them to level 99. I felt fucking great. I was a fucking Pokemon master. I played the shit out of that for like 2 years. I had a fucking Rattata, anything in between. Had that bitch at level 99. Didn't even care. You know why? I used a Pokeball on a motherfucking Pidgey. You know why? Because I could! And that's what you do when you have an overabundance of resources, which is why I fucking hate Twitter and Elon Musk. And I don't want to talk about it because I'm getting fucking mad. With that being said, you don't do it in a fucking multiplayer game. That's what you don't do when you're trying to compete and make a name for yourself. Because you can still lose and be a prick. That's my argument. I feel like I just presented my dissertation. So now I will open the floor again. I'm not even mad. Just fucking yell. I don't know. It's just an Italian. We just fucking yell. Just feel like, can you imagine me ever at the altar? I fucking do, honey. I'll take the healthy and the sick ass version of you. I do. Oh shit. Anyway, sorry. Let me tone it down a little bit. We were having a calm conversation. I took that a little too high. So we're gonna go back down here. We're gonna go back down to my 5'9" level. I felt like I was 6'2". We're gonna come back down here. We in Munchkin land right now. Yeah, Boston Jim took over there. I'd like to apologize to my family. I remember being so mad finding out about that exploit in Red because it wouldn't work in Gold, and I broke my game. I hadn't seen anything aside from 3 days is dishing out punishments more merit based. How long has this exploit been going on for? Can anyone give me an objective answer? I know it's gonna be subjective, but as objective as possible. It also took away the red indicator light for Hunter as well. Man, this is the worst time for something like this to happen. How long has this skin been unlocked for? What day is it? Wednesday? A day and a half or so. That's how long the exploit has been available. Okay. So, to summarize this all up, what my summarization of all this is that I really think that my overall opinion is going to depend on the follow-up. Um, like I said, I separated the difference between like being private versus being a public company versus having a public event versus having sponsorships and things like that. Being an organization where like PR is different, or at least the argument allows a little bit of a difference in opinion. Some people can say it doesn't matter. And that's perfectly fine as well when they're like, well, it doesn't matter who you are, you should still do it this way. I still disagree with that, but we agree on the premise that their approach, they made a statement, they gave gifts. I think that the follow up is going to dictate if everything else made sense. If there is no follow up, then I don't think it was enough of a gift. I think people are going to want to have priorities. Do you just give gifts? Because in my mind, what amount of a gift takes, like, repairs your time and the sacrifices in terms of your health that we mentioned before, right? Like, in my mind, you guys insult yourselves if you think that there's an in-game reward that's worth that, right? Oh, like, well, they ain't giving you echoes. Clues are kind of a joke. Rank treasure, 3? 3? If I were to make a monetary value, I'm actually going to press myself here. Let's see. How about I actually not bitching? If there were to be a monetary value, they're not going to give echoes just because there's terms of service and all that stuff. Um, in my mind, you want to put your money where your mouth is? $30. 30 rank treasures. They gave y'all 3. They gave y'all 10%. That's what they gave you. I say 30. Give y'all 30 spins. 30 spins for a day of agony. You really let people know this has never been done before. This is the 300%, 3,000, whatever, from what we've ever given before. Now you may say that's way too much, or you may say it's not enough, but it's never been done. Usually they give 3, 4, maybe 5. You really want to say, yo, like, my bad, we fucked up. You give 30 spins, you probably shutting up 90% of the people. You want to make it easy where you don't got to allocate resources to that. You give 30 spins. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, isn't it worth more? Yeah, but like historically, they give you 3 or 4 with what you just got. You increase that up to 30, say we fucked up, my bad, but we know this ain't going to make everything perfect. It's the best that we can given the amount of time, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Maybe phrase that a different way because I'm the last fucking person that's an expert in PR, like I said. You know, when I get those long threads on like social media being like, persuade, I'm disappointed, and then like there's this big thread, I'm like, I am not reading anything else. I'm getting the fuck off. I'm gonna go on YouTube and look up puppy videos because I want to go to bed tonight. I don't want anxiety. It's just I get the older I get, the more I'm becoming like my fucking father. I never could understand why my father would. Whenever there's conflict, he'll just like say like something that's like 3 sentences long, and then he just dis it. And I never understood that because like I'm more of like my mom, where like I'm more of a mama's boy. So like my mom and I, we like we're like ready. Like we already argued ourselves in the shower. When I take a shower and you hear me yelling, it's because I already argued you 10 times in that shower. We had 10 different conversations with that. I am about to enter this conversation. I got a fucking precedence. I got a constitution. I got the Declaration of Independence that got written by your Facebook post. I'm ready, bitches. So it took me a long time to not be like that, where it's just like, and my mom and I, we always joke about that all the time. I'll be like, Ma, like I'm trying to like untangle some stuff, right? And she always laughs. She's like, we're Italian. So I'm the older I get, the more I'm becoming like my father, where like I'll just hear one little tiny thing like, I don't like when persuade. Nope, get the fuck off. Crack a beer, watch the game. Nothing else fucking matters. Just like the older I get, man, I don't get it because it's like you got only so much amount of time. Like there's only so much amount of time. Like if I'm married to you, or if we're in love, or if we're dating, all right, then we'll talk. But if we're not, leave me the fuck alone, bro. I got forehead wrinkles. I'm getting old. If you don't think that I already don't know about my shit personality at 34, you'll ever go to bed at night? No, for real. We'll get back to I know I'm jumping here, but like, Does anyone else have? So I have generalized anxiety disorder, right? Like I'm diagnosed. I've been diagnosed since like 2016. Now my anxiety doesn't really it doesn't affect my job. It doesn't affect my ability to help my patients or anything like that. And I'm not on any medications because I have a certain lifestyle. I'm lucky enough where I can manage it at this point, right? But where my anxiety gets really bad, okay, where I get really bad. Does anybody else does anybody else go to bed at night and then you just think of everything that happened during the day and then you start wondering if like maybe something you said fucking like made someone else feel uncomfortable or bad or sad, and then like you just keep thinking about it, thinking, and then you can't stop thinking about it, and then you keep perseverating on it, and then you fucking convince yourself that you fucked up bad. You shouldn't have said what you said, and then you can't get to sleep. You start feeling sick a little bit, and like, because you don't ever want to do that. You actually care about like what these people, like these folks, are thinking, right? So the next day, like you try to play it, like you got to say something. You got a big ass mouth. You don't want to pretend like it doesn't exist. So you go there and say, hey, just so you know, like well, when I was raising my voice yesterday, I hope you understood. I was just joking. I wasn't actually mad or angry with you if I was, but like sometimes I do that because I wanted to be funny, and then they look at you and they're like, dude, you were saying a fucking joke. Like it was hysterical. And you're like, eh? Oh, yeah. No, no, no. I just, of course I'm fucking, look, I'm fucking perfect. I look like Brad Pitt. Of course I know. I was just checking. It's not a big, I didn't even think, I just, but your ass was up until 2 in the morning thinking about this shit. That's how my anxiety fucks with me. And that's why when I don't like seeing mean shit about me, I think about it. Oh man, I don't know if anyone can relate to that. Some of y'all probably like, what the fuck is this kid talking about? It is the one thing I've never. So what I do is I try not checking anything. I just go on YouTube and on my Twitch. I get the fuck off. I'd be like, somebody would be like, yo, Persuade said a stupid joke the other day. Nope, off Twitter next 10 days. Dude, I'm so fucking immature. I can't do it. I just can't. I can't fucking do social media. I suck with it. I've tried. So I go on there and I dabble in it. I only like talk with the people who respond to my post and we're like joking around and I'm like, all right, we had my 5 minutes. So this is a true story. I go on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for accumulation of less than 6 minutes a day, and it's the number six because I thought number five was too little. But I thought number seven was a lucky number, and I'm not lucky. So I literally put a timer and I go, okay, Persuade, you got 6 minutes to check all this shit. 6 minutes. And let me tell you something. If I got 6 minutes, I'm only showing people being nice with me. Yeah. I get in my head quickly about offending people. I hear you, man. I really do. I The amount of times I've apologized for something, they forgot what I was even talking about. Yeah, that's literally me right now. It's 2 a.m. and I'm still up. Yeah. Like, it is my responsibility to tell my friends, other people, if I'm sad about something they did or said. Yeah. How about it? People have their own self-concern, so they would tell you if they are offended. You're right, Lulu. But the thing is that anxiety, real anxiety, not anxiousness, anxiety is not functional. It's not a functional thing. So like you can know that the way that you're thinking deep down is maladaptive, but it's like it's so I can't explain it. When you go into that hyper state of anxiety, like I can know it clinically. I can know it on a research level. I can know it from an individual standpoint, but it's like one of those things where like once it takes off, it's like all of my methods in terms of anxiety and management of it. It's like one of those uh, race cars on the track that like they just like do that real quick sprint to see which one gets faster after a mile, and then when they need to slow down, they have that parachute thing that like pops out, but they're still going like super fucking fast and it takes forever to slow them down. And so it's like when I go through that state of anxiety, when I go to bed at night, it's like I can use all of the healthy coping strategies and I can use all of those methods that they would teach you. But ultimately, like even though I'm slowing it down, I get pissed that it just doesn't stop. And so then I have to be mindful of the process, but it's not going to happen right away because once it takes off, it's not, I can't, it's never just going to get shut down. So, so then you got to come up with strategies to avoid the takeoff, right? But I know that during the takeoff, once the takeoff happens, I can't be perseverating on the fact that the takeoff is happening because now I'm just worried about what just happened in the past. At that moment, I got to focus on the parachute, slow it down, deal with the frustration, get it controlled, and then in a systematic process, wonder what could I have done differently? One of the solutions to that, my 6 fucking minute rule. It's been working great. Working great. And then the other thing, I like to go to sleep listening to documentaries. So that makes me happy. And then if I'm sad, I actually learned this in grad school. No, I'm serious. I learned this from a clinical professor. Uh, they said, you know what I do when I'm sad? They watch videos of like puppies and stuff. And I remember thinking, because I was young. Well, I was younger. I think at that time I was a little bit more. That was actually I was more mature, but I was still young. I was like 25, and I remember listening to that. I'm like, that's kind of dumb. I remember being like a little condescending about it. I'm not even a mean person at that stage in my life either, but I remember like, bro, I watch so many animal videos these days. Like that professor had so much more knowledge and wisdom than me. I was just watching a video the other night of an ostrich that keeps trying to attack this lady. Can I get in trouble if I put this on right now? I'm going to show you the video that somehow just makes me happy every time I watch it. I don't even care. Whatever. We're almost done with this feed anyway. So we talked about a whole bunch of things. But I'm going to show you the video where no matter how fucking mad I am or sad, I just watch this video and it makes me. Oh, here it is. It Okay. All right. So this is me and you all. Okay. I'm just kidding, by the way. Hold on. Oh, how do I do it? Ah, man. You know what I said? I said that I was going to get this stuff, and then I never do. Okay, give me 1 second. I almost have it. Here we go. You guys want to see the video? So anyways, I had a clinical professor who literally said like they would watch videos and all that stuff, and that's when I realized that like I didn't actually have healthy coping mechanisms. You know what I mean? Like what was I doing to actually pamper myself, right? And I was like, okay, so here we go. So let's see. I might get in trouble for this on like live or whatever, but I don't know how live works and all that even after all these years, but I'll get better. Again, this is my first week back. So I want you guys to watch this with me. Hopefully we can hear it. And this is my go-to video, no matter how fucking sad or pissed.
Karen's giving me a little bit of attitude today, and I'm not going to stand here for it. Karen?
She was very crotchety. Karen, in a constant state of wanting to talk to the manager.
She's not like this all the time. Are you, Karen? Oh.
Karen came to us after being in so many zoos and probably making and breaking so many relationships with other animals.
Now that she's in her home forever, I just want her to be so happy.
We got Stanley as a companion for Karen, but they are absolute opposites. Stanley is so caring and loving, and his relationship with me is almost like a parent-child relationship.
We're just having some Saturday morning snuggles. Stanley is like a golden retriever. Look at him, sitting in my lap. In spite of their differences, Stanley's helping Karen feel less lonely. It's so nice to see her so happy with another creature. My goal was to show Karen that humans can be good too, and Stanley was the perfect way in, helping to show Karen what she was missing.
Hey, Stanley. What's Karen doing?
Karen saw us being buddies, so I was hoping that could help my case. And it was almost like she wanted in on the fun. And so we worked at it every day.
Karen, what are you doing? Do you like my boots?
Oh, boots. Fuck.
Okay, we're being friends today, remember? Oh, maybe we aren't. Oh, that's nice.
There were moments when I saw a glimmer of hope, and others not so much.
You are a mean girl today. You're a mean girl.
And then, the most amazing thing happened.
Shh, there, Karen. Oh, that's a nice girl. Good girl, Karen. Oh, gosh, a good girl.
Yo, Spice, tomorrow.
Beautiful day out, and everybody's in it.
So anyways,
I got Karen having a nap on my arm. Do you want to see what I have?
alright,
Sure.
so... Anyways,
Karen. She's sleeping.
you know what's funny? So, that was the wrong video, but I still liked it anyways. That was that was the wrong one. I think the one that I watched was more of a Wait, hold on.
Karen. I was just cleaning.
Man, where's the one that I So I guess it was more of a short. Is that what it's called? It's more of a short. Oh, this is it. Okay, I got it. So it's the same principle. This is much shorter. Don't worry. We'll wrap this up. I guess it's a short that I. Okay, yeah, this is better. Way better. Let's see. Here we go. This is, yeah. Here we go. This is gold.
I live in a state of constant anxiety.
Don't.
Oh, I love this.
Don't. You don't have to be like that. Don't be a bad girl. I'm trying to leave. Karen! I'm trying to leave, Karen. Settle down.
Anybody that's been following me for more than 4 minutes knows all about Karen's murderous tendencies and her absolute love of violence. But something magic happened last night.
Yeah, I don't know why I love that. Look at that.
I don't have words. Right now, I'm speechless. You know how often that happens?
So, right here. So this is me with insurance companies. So I'm this emu during insurance companies. Okay? So this is me all day just fucking screaming.
Constant anxiety.
So this is the insurance companies being like, why the fuck did you deny my claim? That's me appealing it and they're being like, fuck off.
You don't have to be like that.
And I'm like, fuck you, insurance company. You didn't even have a specialist
Don't be
look at
that
my
girl.
shit. So I'm pissed.
I'm trying to leave.
Right?
Karen.
Trying to go back. I'm like, fuck you, I'm gonna get a lawyer.
Trying to leave,
You know.
Karen. Settle down.
So my patient gets discharged. They go home. They're fucked.
Knows all about
Right?
Karen's murderous tendencies.
So that's me still like
and an
emailing the
absolute
insurance
love of
company
violence.
being like, you guys are pricks. Right there. Same thing. Still
Something
mad.
tragic happened last
And then
night.
this is me on live feed with you all. Like, hi. Hey.
Words. Right now,
Somebody
I'm
hold me.
speechless.
I'm lonely.
You know how often that happens?
I'm angry. I say dumb stuff sometimes, but I just want you to love me. So yeah, so that's
I live in a state of
so
constant
yeah,
anxiety.
so that's where I'm at. All right. So anyways, I'm gonna get off live feed. I'm gonna go play some fucking Roblox. I don't know. I like my private time sometime. I play this Navy game sometime. Don't ask. Whatever. But I'm fucking awesome at it. I think some of you joined me last night, and we were supposed to lose, and I won, and they all like, that guy, he fucking sucks, and I was like, I'm not about to apologize for my team kicking your team's ass. But I didn't say it that way because I don't want to get in trouble with Roblox. But yeah, we won. We were behind. We were behind a lot. But Daddy Persuade came in with a submarine and just fucked shit up. Anyways, I want to go on that game and do it again, and then I want to go to bed. I got a long day tomorrow. Anyways, I hope that you guys are all hanging in there. I'll be back. Well, not be back. I'll be on tomorrow night, hopefully. Maybe play some copycat or some shit. Y'all can tell me what to play. We'll play together. Y'all have a good night. I love you all. Get some good rest. Fucking get some sleep. Stop sacrificing so much for rank. God damn it. All right.